EDS armed and ready means the emergency detection system is now armed.
1
and that
minute.
basically just means that if it detects something, it will
Range
trigger the
green.
launch abort system on Starliner and fire
54.
automatically. The
PLP
spacecraft
started.
would push itself far up and away from the rocket. We're talking a mile up and a mile out in just a matter of seconds. Certainly don't expect to see that today.
40.
That would look quite good.
30.
30 seconds.
Simple up flight set. 25. Status check.
Go active. Go set.
Go Starliner.
All systems are go for liftoff.
Go Starliner. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Starliner is headed back to space on the shoulders of Atlas, powered by a workforce dedicated to its success. Right now, atmospheric forces are the highest Starliner Atlas will face during the uphill climb.
Mach 1, Atlas 5 and Starliner on that supersonic. Vehicle now throttling up.
Up next in about 20 seconds, Starliner's two solid rocket boosters will run out of fuel and burn out.
And we have burnout on both SRBs.
Good crew module forward link connection.
Already ready is throttling back up to full thrust.
Now that we pass the solid rocket booster burnout, we'll soon see those two solid rocket boosters separate from the vehicle.
Atlas 5 now weighs just 1/2 of what it did at launch, going propellant at a rate of 2,800 pounds per second. And we have indication of SRB jettison.
Atlas continues to ascend using solely the RD-180 engine. That's about
2 minutes remaining in the booster
850,000
phase of
pounds
flight.
thrust to sea level.
Already ready is throttling down slightly as expected. Engine response is good.
Teams here on the ground confirming Starliner has a good trajectory. We're now 2 minutes and 55 seconds into today's flight. And up to 56 kilometers.
Our next throttle down will be to control acceleration forces. Limit forces on the crew to below 4 Gs at a safe for an extended period of time.
One minute remaining in this one. 1 minute to be set. Starliner is now throttling to maintain 3.5 G acceleration on the vehicle.
Starliner flying off the east coast at this point at altitude of 80 kilometers now, moving at a rate of 1,187 miles per hour.
Just passing North Carolina and Virginia off the northeastern seaboard. Those of you watching along the coastline, you might be able to see this launch.
We have BECO, booster engine cutoff. We have successful staging. We start on your L10. We have ignition on both our L10s. Centaur's moved on to closed loop steering.
Just passed through several milestones. Teams here on the ground reporting that all are looking good. Ascent cover jettison there. That provided that
And we have
aerodynamic
airstrip
structure to the top of Starliner, protecting the docking equipment during descent.
And now that Starliner and Centaur are free of the atmosphere, well into the vacuum of space, that aeroskirt has been jettisoned.
Now 6 minutes into today's launch, Starliner continuing to accelerate up the North American coast. Everything going smoothly so far. Starliner and Centaur have been ticking through their ascent milestones right on track, including the booster stage separation, Centaur ignition, and aeroskirt jettison. A number of status calls we'll be listening for in the next several minutes, but if all continues to go well, the next major milestones watch out for is the main engine cutoff. And Starliner will be officially in space.
We heard a report from ULAC, and we had a little bit of an overperformance on the booster, but that's a good thing. Centaur is more than capable of adjusting on the fly in its closed loop performance.
Centaur pressures are stable. Centaur looks good.
Flight control teams are also monitoring the performance of the sublimator on Starliner right now. The sublimator is what is used to control cabin temperatures going up to space and coming home. Normally we use the radiators on the service module, but those are not powered up until we get into orbit. We heard confirmation that St. John's abort zone is open. We pre-select these splashdown zones in the case of any needed aborts. The first one would be off the coast of St. John's, Nova Scotia. We just heard the flight dynamics officer report everything is pretty good.
Flight controllers here in Mission Hill confirming that our main engine cutoff time is looking stable. It is going to be 11 minutes and 50 seconds into the flight. We are now 8 minutes and 50 seconds in, so that's still about 3 minutes to go until we hit that milestone.
Here is that the Shannon abort zone will be open. Now you can see on your screens that Starliner is making its way up the North American coast, just starting to go into the Atlantic Ocean, Northern Atlantic Ocean. We pre-plan our flight trajectory so we would not abort a crew into the middle of the ocean. They'd be near enough to land for quick and speedy recovery. So we're still in that St. John's abort zone. Expect to hear that Shannon open call coming.
And we just heard that call. Shannon now open. So Starliner could potentially make that abort landing off the coast of Ireland now if needed, but so far no reason to think it will be. Starliner currently 153 kilometers above the Atlantic Ocean, and that's about 95 miles.
We are 11 minutes into today's flight. Centaur and Starliner are passing Mach 23. Mach 23.3 and counting. Altitude of just under 150 kilometers.
Nico's name has been cut off on both of the dual engine Centaur. RL-10s are scheduled to shut down. That again is coming up at 11 minutes and 50 seconds. About 5 seconds away now.
And we have Nico 1. Centaur engines are cut off. RCS is now
Main engine cut off, right on time. Starliner is in space, but not done with the ascent milestones. Hearing in the room that it was a good main engine cut off. Next milestone we'll be looking for is launch vehicle separation, when Starliner will separate from Centaur booster and fly on its own. Even after that happens, we'll have about 15 minutes until our final major milestone of the day is ascent, the orbital insertion burn that will raise the perigee, or low point of Starliner's orbit out of Earth's atmosphere. So stick with us, we're not done yet. Now 12 minutes and 30 seconds into today's flight.
We just heard our Atlas console position report a spacecraft separation for 1450 after launch.
About 2 minutes away.
Now right now, ULA teams are confirming that Centaur is in a good configuration for separation, making sure that all of the pressures in the tanks are stable and it will be able to conduct a proper disposal burn later. Flight control teams here in the room are moving to their insertion checklists.
60 seconds to spacecraft set. Some cars now achieved its separation attitude.
Just under a minute now to go until the launch vehicle separation. Team here on the ground reporting that Starliner and Simplot are both ready for it. In the right orientation and on a stable trajectory.
30 seconds to Starliner separation.
Centaur is holding attitude for Starliner separation. 10 seconds to separation.
And we have confirmation of Starliner separation.
And Starliner is flying alone on its way to orbit. Confirm good LV separation. Thanks ULA for a smooth ride to space, and thank you Dylan for your help on that ascent commentary.
That milestone behind us, the next one we'll be watching for is that orbital insertion burn. That is going to raise the perigee, or the low point of Starliner's orbit, out of the Earth's atmosphere, putting it in space for its full orbit. That's an important milestone to reach. It's going to be a 45-second burn. It'll change Starliner's velocity about 85 meters per second, or 190 miles per hour. And that's going to be coming up at the 31-minute mark in today's orbit. We're now just under 16 minutes into today's flight, so still about 15 minutes to go for that.
So there's a number of things that flight controllers are working on right now. They're transitioning Starliner from its launch mode over to its orbit mode. That includes powering up things like antennas, heaters, and those radiators that I mentioned earlier. We have good targeting for orbital insertion, a good forward command link, and a good MET epoch timer. Starliner making its way over the North Atlantic. Some other things going on right now. They are powering down some what's called demonstration flight instrumentation. We have some extra sensors on there for these demonstration flights. We have more of them on during power descent, but we don't need some of those right now, so flight controllers are powering some of those down. But some other things that are powering on include those propulsion line heaters. When in the vacuum of space and in the Earth's shadow, it gets quite cold, around negative 250 degrees, so we want to make sure those propulsion lines don't freeze. And the radiators are those little small silver discs you might be able to see on the side of the service module. If you remember your high school physics, the only way you can get rid of heat in a vacuum is through radiation. And so that sublimator will be powering down, and the radiators will be taking care of the heat management for the rest of the flight until we get ready to come home. Some things that you also might be seeing on your screen are some RCS jet activations. Those are just helping the target for that orbital insertion burn. And at about L plus 23, the team will transition Starliner into what's called fine pointing mode, or thrust align mode. So those jets that you see firing will hold a very specific attitude, which is exactly the attitude that we need for that orbital insertion burn. As Brandy mentioned earlier, we want that 85 meters per second of delta V to be going in exactly the right direction. And so the colors you're seeing on your screen,
colors you're seeing on the screen are indicating Starliner's track right now. Starliner is currently coming up on the coast of Europe and is about 224 miles, 139 miles, 224 kilometers above the Atlantic Ocean as it makes its way to the topmost, highest part of this orbit. It'll be heading southeast over Europe and a little bit of Africa in the next few minutes as it begins its journey to start catching up with the International Space Station. Again, one of the major milestones coming up in preparation for that is the orbital insertion burn, coming up at the 31-minute mark into today's flight. We're now just over 19 minutes in.
We still have a good forward link command connection.
Look at the number of teams who have been supporting today's launch all across the U.S., in particular here in Houston. You hear of the flight director Mike Reynolds and Rick Humphrey, who's been assisting him, particularly with weather observations. And earlier you saw several of the teams who have been supporting from the launch site in Florida. Now, 21 minutes into today's flight. That's just about 10 minutes away from that orbital insertion burn that we're watching for. It's coming up at 31 minutes into the flight. We're about a minute away before the flight controllers put Starliner into its thrust align mode. Once again, just making sure that Starliner is pointed exactly at the right attitude for that orbital insertion burn. It's going to hold that attitude. It is otherwise very quiet on the flight control routes, which, as Warren said earlier, silence is golden. Guidance Navigation Control Officer confirmed that Starliner is moving towards that OI attitude and will begin holding for orbital insertion. With that, we're going to take a minute to pause and toss it back to Lauren in Florida, who I believe has a special guest there to talk with before they wrap up their coverage for the day. Lauren?
Hey, Brandy.
you very much. Just joining me now is NASA astronaut Sunny Williams. Thank you so much for being here, Sunny.
Thanks. It's great to be here today.
And I know you've been following along. I've actually been able to see you from my perspective up here. I saw you in the moment of liftoff. You had your game face on. What was going through your mind at that moment?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Actually, leading up to this, I've been thinking about all the teams all over the country who are supporting this. You know, of course, here in Florida, but then back in Houston and Denver. It's just a huge team to get this thing off the ground and to get Starliner into flight. So at the moment of liftoff, I have to admit, though, I was thinking about what it's like to be sitting inside of there. So, you know, unabashed to just imagine what it would be like for the next launch, and we have people riding in Starliner and this Atlas V being a human-rated rocket. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we heard the guys earlier saying they were jealous about Rosie.
Absolutely.
Well, just a few months ago, we were talking about how much confidence you have in the Atlas V rocket. And what made you say that?
Yeah, you know, we've been here a couple times watching launches, of course, not only for Starliner, for OFT the first time around, but also for other payloads that have gone up on the Atlas V. And, you know, they're pretty expensive. I told my mom at one point in time, if they're putting that expensive payload on top of that rocket, I feel pretty good about that. And I know of the team. I've been here, talked to a lot of people who work on this, you know, this rocket, both here in Decatur, for example, as well in Denver. And I understand the engineering, or at least I tried to understand the engineering that goes into this complex machine. And, you know, they are A-plus, you know, people doing just such a great job. So I know that their hearts are with us and ready to launch humans into space.
And we are waiting for that orbital insertion burn. It is a very important milestone for Starliner. What are you watching for here?
Yeah, we just want to make sure that, you know, that burn goes off without a flaw. We get circularized around the planet, and then we can all take a deep breath and let the spacecraft fly for a little bit and get ready for the rendezvous profile for the ISS. So I think that is really what we're waiting for, just to make sure it's going to happen correctly, which, you know, all indications are great. The spacecraft is working well.
Now, Sunny, I see you at the office quite often. I see the guys at the office quite often. You guys really have worked closely with the people who have their hands on the spacecraft day in and day out. What does that relationship mean to you?
It's huge, like I mentioned. During the days leading up to this, I really was just thinking about the teams. All of the hard work that they've done, you know, into getting the spacecraft ready to go, as well as getting this rocket ready to go. I know ULA has done a lot of work leading up to this after the last attempt, and this relationship is so key. I feel like I just want to stay committed to them to make sure that we get to the finish line with getting people to the International Space Station.
And so, as soon as you guys finish up here tonight, then what happens? Where are you going next?
Oh, heading back to Houston. You know, Mission Control in Houston right now has the spacecraft, and we want to watch the rendezvous profile. You know, we're also, all three of us are sort of sitting in the shoes in the seat of Rosie, you know, wondering what it's going to be like and what the spacecraft is going to see, how it's going to act, and all of that rendezvous profile. So we'll be right there following along. So it's going to be an exciting 24 hours. I'm racing back. I'll be home tonight to be able to be in Mission Control in some capacity watching, just like here, watching that rendezvous profile.
And can you tell us much about what would happen between now and cruise site? What kind of training do you have to go through, and what kind of things are we going to be working on with Starliner?
Right. So this mission is going to prove, you know, we're going to learn stuff. Not everything is going to go 100% correctly, right? We learn stuff every time we take something to space. And so we're going to take those lessons learned from this mission and apply it to the next launch, which is the crew flight test. But even besides that, we have testing that we're ready to go do. We have the crew validation test, which is coming up this summer, where the three of us will be in the spacecraft, and, you know, in the suits, checking out the environmental control system, checking out the ergonomics, making sure we fit, we're ready to go. We also will be working with the software folks. So looking at all the displays, making sure that all the displays tell us the right information and we understand it correctly, and we can work with Mission Control with that. So there's a lot. And then, of course, there's training with the control team. The control team, we've had some training with them, but you know, leading up to this, they've been working on an uncrewed version. And now, you know, us little pains in the neck are going to be sitting in there talking back to them. So we're going to work through all that choreography of how we're going to work together in the spacecraft.
Well, Sonny, your time is valuable. I really appreciate you joining us here. I know you need to get back down to the console and follow along. So thank you for being here. And we are going to continue to follow along the loops here at the ASOC and wait for that orbital insertion burn, which is basically when Starliner will be up in orbit, hanging out until we're ready to start the rendezvous process and docking tomorrow. So for now, that's it for me and Sunny, as well as Dan Rice here in Florida. And we'll get you back over to Brandon and Josh in Houston.
Thanks so much, Lauren. And great to hear from Sunny. We're now just about 2 minutes away from the orbital insertion burn. That, again, is going to be a 45-second burn. It's going to raise the perigee or the low point of Starliner's orbit out of the Earth's atmosphere and get it into a stable orbit. And after that, begin checking out the critical control systems before tomorrow's docking.
Minute and a half until the orbital insertion burn. Starliner is in the burn attitude. You might have seen earlier the nose of Starliner might have been pointed down towards the Earth, but that's actually the attitude that it needs to be, because as it orbits around the Earth, it will no longer be pointing at Earth. It will be pointing at that specific point in space that the orbital insertion burn will send us to. And once again, there will be a lot of thruster activity. We want those 4 aft-facing OMAC engines, that's about 1,200 pounds of thrust each, to be pushing in exactly the right direction.
OMAC 74 orbital maneuvering and attitude control. They're going to fire for 45 seconds for this burn, changing Starliner's velocity by 85 meters per second or 190 miles per hour. 30 seconds to go now until that burn ignites. Orbital insertion burn starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, this one is going to last for 45 seconds. Team here on the ground reporting 4 good orbital maneuvering and attitude control thrusters.
Now the colors you're seeing on those jets, or you were seeing on those jets, they indicate which integrated propulsion controller those jets are mapped to. We have 3 IPCs, integrated propulsion controllers. OI cutoff in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have OI cutoff. And we have confirmation from Flight Director Mike Lammers. We have a good orbital insertion burn. Starliner is in a stable circular orbit on its way to the International Space Station. Now, this was a big hurdle to get through early on. We have a few demos to go on our way to